Oh, I've heard some great tall tales, and some of the best ones were, I think, from Jim Bridger. Jedediah Smith told some good tall tales. Let me show you the kind of rifle that he brought out west in 1830, because Jim Bridger, he called his old rifle Betsy, and it was a powerful gun, just like this. It's a 50 caliber Hawken, but you know the difference with this rifle? You can't put 5 bullets in a muzzle loader and shoot 5 times. If you wounded a bear with this and it gets up to chase you, here's what you have to do. Take the powder horn and measure 100 grains of powder and pour it down the muzzle. Then you reach into the patch box. Patches are just pieces of cloth. They're about the size of a quarter. You put the patch down the barrel next on the powder. Then reach into your possibles bag. That small skin bag carried everything possible for survival, including a rifle ball. Put that down the barrel last, and then use a ramrod to pack everything in tight. If you didn't pack it down tight, when you pulled the trigger, the gun might explode in your face, so you make sure to load it correctly. Now, Joe Meek, he was pretty fast at loading his rifle. Some mountain men could do it riding a horse 30 miles an hour chasing a buffalo, but Joe, he would lay his rifle down in the spring when the bears were coming out of hibernation. He'd put the rifle on the ground in front of a bear's cave. He'd walk in the cave with just the ramrod, go up to the biggest grizzly he could find and whip the bear on the nose 2 or 3 times. When that bear got mad and chased him from the cave, Joe would come running out laughing. He'd grab his rifle, let the bear charge within 30 feet. He'd fire point blank. When it rolled dead at his feet, he'd jump up, grab the ramrod, whip the bear on the nose, and scream he was the greatest mountain man who ever lived. That just about cost him his life once. He got a bear mad. It chased him from a cave, and he shot too quick. He hit the bear in the shoulder. It rolled over and jumped back up. He wasn't worried at first. He just poured in some powder. But he reached for his possibles bag for a rifle ball. It was gone. It had fallen off on the trail. He had no bullets. The bear rushed towards him and Joe panicked. He looked around. Even small rocks, if he could pack some in the barrel, they'd blast out like a shotgun. There was nothing to be had. In his hand was the ramrod. He figured he'd try it as well as give up and be killed. He dropped the ramrod down the barrel on the powder. Let the bear charge within 10 feet. He closed his eyes and he fired. Sure enough, that ramrod flew from the gun like an arrow from a bow, pierced the bear through the chest and heart. It fell dead at Joe's feet. He took 2 deep breaths, pulled the ramrod from the bear's chest, whipped it on the nose, and screamed he was still the greatest mountain man. I have read that story in about 3 books. I'm not sure it's true. Some of his stories sound to me like a tale. You got a question?
Yeah. Can you pass down the white fox?
I'm going to let you touch the fox and a few others when you leave today. I'll have some by the door where you can touch them. Yeah.
What's your favorite part of being a mountain man?
Oh, I still love studying mountain men. I started when I was a 4th grader with the books my teacher showed me in the library. I studied it in high school and college. I taught U.S. history at Orem High School for a few years. I'm still learning it. They're still writing books about the trappers, the Indians, the history of Utah. You couldn't learn it all in your lifetime. Yeah.
My grandpa.
Does he know me? What's his name? Grandpa Jones? Yeah, got a question?
Do you make your own traps?
I've made a few traps, and you know, my favorite traps are the ones I learned from the Shoshone Indians. They're called deadfall traps. You can make them 2 ways. You can build a figure 4 out of sticks and put it under a big heavy rock that leans up, and one of the